Hi everyone, welcome to the course. Today is day 3 of week 3. So let's have a recap of what all things we learned in the last class. So first we learned about functions. So function, a JavaScript function is a block of code that is designed to perform a particular task. The function is executed whenever we call it. So the real world example of that were f of x is equal to x plus 2, f of x comma y is equal to x plus y minus 1, f of x y z is equal to x plus y plus z. So these are function with single argument, function with 2 arguments, function with 3 arguments. Now, a function generally takes an input and gives out an output. So the syntax of a function is basically the function keyword, then the name of the function and the number of arguments. And then we open up the curly brackets and we write whatever code we want to write for that function to perform that particular task. And then we call the function basically. We call by writing the name of the function and giving the required number of arguments. That is called the invoking the function. So for example, function add a comma b, we can write console.log a plus b, and then we can call that function add 1 comma 2, and it gives the output as 3. Now the return value. So you might want to store the value of the result of the function. So in that particular case, we want to return the value. We use the return keyword at the end of the function and write whatever we want to return in front of it. So let's suppose we have function addition a comma b. We can return a plus b so that we can store the value of the function in a variable. So addition 3 comma 4. So the value will get stored in the result variable. So we can console log result and the output comes out to be 7. Now the next thing which we learned was lexical scoping. So what is lexical scoping? So lexical scoping basically uses the location where the variable is declared within the source code to determine where the variable is available. So we learned that the lexical scoping is broken down into two parts. First is the global scope and the second one is local scope. So what is the global scope? So global scope means that the variable is available everywhere inside the code. Then we learned about local scope. So the local scope is further divided into two, the functional scope and a block scope. So the functional scope was that the variable is available everywhere inside the function, inside the nested functions also. So let's look at the example of the same. So variable name is equal to Abhishek. Function init, variable age equal to 25. Console.log name, console.log age. Since the name variable is outside of the function, it is of the global scope, it is available everywhere. So if I do console.log name, it will output Abhishek. And if I do console.log age is equal to 25 because we are accessing it inside the function only. Now if we do console.log name, again it will be available because the variable name had a global scope. Now if we do console.log age, it will give a reference error because age is has a scope of functional scope. So that's why it will give a reference error. Now today we learn about ASCII values. So what are ASCII values? So ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So American Standard Code for Information Interchange. The idea of ASCII values is very simple. The text which we write or which we use to communicate with each other contains of various characters, whether it be lowercase or uppercase characters, whether it be special symbols like at the rate, dollar, or be it numbers like 1, 2, 4, 3, anything. So basically all these characters are given a numeric value. So let's suppose if I want to write a string, my name is Abhishek. So it can be represented as, so capital M stands for the number 77. Small y stands for 121. Then the space stands for 32. Then small n stands for 110 and so on, basically. So now everything is converted into numbers and we know that the numbers can be converted into binary numbers. So it is very easy for computers to understand. Whenever anything is converted to numbers, it is very easy for computers to understand. Now, these are some of the common numbers which we might want to remember, the ASCII values. So basically, if a symbol is 0, so it is the number 0. So the ASCII value is 0. Similarly, for number 1, it is ASCII value of 1. For space, it is 32. For the string 0, it is 48. For capital A, it is 65. For capital B, it is 66, and so on. For small a, it is 97. For small b, it is 98, and so on. So these are few of the general values which we might want to remember. Then there are functions, string functions. So there are some inbuilt functions which are present in strings. So the first is char at, returns the character at the given index. Includes, determines whether a string is present or not. Index of, returns the first occurrence of the string. Replace, replaces the string with another string. Sub str basically returns the substring. To lowercase to uppercase converts to lowercase and uppercase respectively. Trim, remove the leading and trailing white spaces. So we'll do the examples of each of every functions. Now there are some array functions also. So the push one adds element to the end of the array. Pop removes element from the end of the array. These two which we have already done. Then there is a reverse. Reverses the elements of the array. Join. Join the elements of the array on the basis of a delimiter character. So I'll explain what is a delimiter character. Slice returns the removed items and changes the original array. Splice returns the removed item but does not change the original array. So all these examples we'll again do in the class. Then the last thing for today is higher order functions. So what are higher order functions? A function that accepts or returns another function is called a higher order function. For example, filter, map, sort, etc. So let's take an example of each of these three ones, and then we'll discuss it in detail in the class. So a map function. So let's suppose I declare a variable array 1 is equal to 1, 3, 10. So basically there are three elements. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing array1 dot map. Okay. So variable array2, and when I'm doing function item. So basically I can write a function inside of this array1 dot map, and I'm saying take every item. So 1, 3, 10 constitutes of individual items. So it rates automatically over every item. So it is saying item and return item into item. So basically in array 2, I'll get the square of all the elements. So I'll get 1, 9 and 100. Similarly, there is a filter function. So it says variable array1 is 1, 1, 9, 10, 3, 10. So what I'm saying, variable array2 is array1 dot filter function iterate over every item 1, 1, 9, 10, 3, 10. And it's saying if item is greater than equal to 5, return true. So basically it will filter out all those items from the array which are greater than 5. So if I take out this thing, so the resultant array will be only 9, 10, 10. Now the third one was sort. So variable array1 is 1, 1, 9, 10, 3, 10. Now if I do variable array2 array1 dot sort, now it takes a function which can compare two values. So let's suppose if I have two values a comma b. So basically the sort function takes into account that a is greater than b. If a is greater than b, then return a positive value. So what I'm doing is I'm using a minus b. So if a is greater than b, so a minus b will be a positive value. If a is less than b, so a minus b will be a negative value. And if a is equal to b, then it will be 0. So basically it uses these things to sort out the elements. So if I do array of 2, so the resultant array will be 1, 1, 3, 9, 10, 10. So these things, we'll discuss how these things work in the class. So don't worry about that particular thing. And the majority of the things will come by practice. So we'll discuss all of them. So don't worry. Thank you.